A baby of the computer age. By typing any 4 keys, the horse appears. For her, it's a plaything, but her education and development will be transformed by it. Will she be programmer or programmed? When she sets off for school, the world in which she will learn will be invaded by the computer. The traditional classroom faces a serious challenge. Kids are hooked on computer games. That fascination may be the spark which sets the development of the human mind on a new course. This is the story of one man's views of what that course could be. The turtle is a small robot plugged into a computer. Here in Boston, Massachusetts, an area of the kindergarten has been transformed into a wood. A 5-year-old sends the turtle roaming, driving it with simple instructions: F for forward, B for backward, L for left, R for right. These are the simple commands of a computer language called Logo, a language designed for learning. Its use in schools raises controversial questions about how we learn. In a London school, 7-year-olds use similar instructions to drive an imaginary turtle on a journey round the planets. FD for forward, RT for right turn. By combining forward and turns, they can send it anywhere they like.
Too much.
Here, the turtle is an arrowhead.
There's the arrow. You can see it. It's there.
And that's where the turtle is?
Yeah. We call it Seymour clearly. We named it after a person that invented Logo, and he was Seymour Papert.
Logo was designed for learning, and it's unique in this respect. No other language was designed for that purpose. BASIC and its variants, such as Pilot, which are most commonly used, were made for totally different purposes and were handed on like cast-off clothing to be used by the world of education. I think this is a scandal.
Seymour Papert is not only horrified that we foist an inappropriate computer language BASIC on our children, but that too many classrooms misuse computers. The computer instructs the child. Parents worry that children waste their time on computers, but misuse is far more subtle. If the computer is used to reinforce traditional rote learning and drill and practice routines, the spectre of an Orwellian world is not so remote. A new powerful technology being used as a substitute for chalk and talk is more alienating, and it inhibits change. The typewriter keyboard has a lesson for anyone interested in change. The QWERTY arrangement, Q-W-E-R-T-Y, comes from the way early typewriters were always jamming. Someone thought of preventing this by separating the most frequently typed letters. New keyboards can't jam, but millions of fingers had learnt the old keyboard, so QWERTY remains. We have new technologies for learning, but will the layout of schooling resist them? The computer offers us a chance to reorganize the way we learn. Instead of being given knowledge by a hierarchy of experts, we can get it for ourselves, building it from scratch with the computer as our workbench. But you need a powerful computer and a high-level language like Logo, which uses large amounts of memory and does a lot of work for you. Philip and his friends have given the commands to draw a square. Forward 50, right 90. Now they've given it a name, S. Anytime they type an S, the computer will repeat that square. By entering S and a degree for the turn, they can build more complicated and dynamic designs. A Logo computer will take words and graphics, but children find turtle graphics most fun.
We are lucky it would do Yeah. Let's hope. That is brilliant. We've done it. Keep your fingers crossed.
Papert designed Logo with colleagues from the Artificial Intelligence Laboratory at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
We tried to achieve a number of goals. First of all, that it should be easily accessible. There should be corners of the language that you can get into, like baby talk getting into English, that are easy for the youngest beginner. But it shouldn't be a toy language. It's not that Logo is easy. It's easy to get into. But once you're in there, you can progress to the most sophisticated ideas in the world of programming. Just as in English, you can start off with baby talk, but the same language is also the vehicle for expression of poets and philosophers.
Ben is 8. He's engaged in serious discussion with Papert about his program for sprites. He likes these dynamic objects, which he can call up by name and program into highly active designs. He's kept all his ideas in a book. Typically, his handwriting doesn't give any clues to the complexity and achievement of his programming.
I think it was in 2nd grade. I'll show you that one. Would you like to see it?
Sure.
All right. Oh, wait a minute. Like, bursts out onto the screen and then goes back in. We call that a home.
A home?
Yes, that means, like, that's the middle of the screen, like, is its home, and it tells it, like, to come home. No higher than 127. What number?
About 55. Speed limit.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
See, you see the planes and the trucks, then the rockets and the balls, and then the squares. And it's really neat.
Objects whizzing around the screen give this generation of children experience never before available. Children learn by experience of the world around them. That was the message of the Swiss educationist Jean Piaget. And hearing it, schools brought everyday objects into the classroom, creating a revolution in the education of young children. Crayon, glue, cardboard, blocks. These are the standard building materials from which children build their minds. Papert worked with Piaget and realized that the computer should come in along with the mud pies.
Whereas what we really have to think about is what produces involvement, engagement, what grabs the individual. And so it's much more related to love than to logic. It's much more related to sex than to abstraction. It's much more related to how you see yourself as fitting into the social and cultural fabric, including how you see television. Is it something that's being done to you or something that you want to appropriate? Then it's a matter of knowing how to put subject matter in the right sort of logical order in order for people to understand it. Education has very little to do with explanation. It has to do with engagement, with falling in love with the material.
By the time Papert was 2, he was already fascinated by rotating things, wheels, gears, pulleys. He loved their beauty and their logic. He thought about how fast small ones drove slow big ones. He'd no idea that he was preparing himself to become a mathematician, but he was. When teachers talk about ratio and about equations, many children find these ideas abstract and alien. Papert did not. His world of rotations made them concrete, friendly. For him, gears and wheels had become objects to think with, and he tried to invent new kinds of lovable objects that were good to think with. His most successful so far are the turtles.